So we've now reached the ribbing section of the shawl, and I want to show you a different type of increasing that will be used down at the central part of the shawl on either side of the spine. So far we've been using yarn overs, and we'll be still using those yarn overs on the two ends, but in the middle for this section we will be doing a different combination of make one right and make one left. So it's a right leaning and a left leaning increase. If I just show you on my little swatch, it's a bit easier to see. There's the normal yarn over, which creates the eyelets, and then it's really further on all the way along the spine here. On either side you're going to be doing make one right or make one left, and it creates an increase, but also you can see how the pattern then continues all the way flaring out. So let me show you how to do that. So on this little swatch, I'm just going to now show you how to do those two new increases. They're the make one right and make one left. And they're used in lots and lots of different patterns. And the idea is that once you've made the increase, you've got either the thread will be leaning left or right. So before we get to the central point, I'm just going to show you how to do that. So I'll just knit 2 stitches. What you need to do to begin with is identify the thread that lies between the 2 stitches on your needle. So if you just pull it apart, you can see here, there's a thread, and that's what you're going to make or increase your stitch into. You've got 2 alliterations, make one right, make one left, and I think of the M1R, I think of the alliteration of R as rear. So when I see make one right, I think come from the back. So with my left needle, I'm going to lift that thread, which is lying between, onto my left needle. Already I can see it's slanting to the right. So that's another checkpoint to just make sure you're doing the right one. So I've got that now onto the needle. And now, having picked it up from the back, I need to knit it through the front. So I'm just going to lift that thread and then place my needle in and off. And there you can see that slanting to the right. So that's a make one right. I'll just take that off and I'll show you now how to make one left. So with the make one right, we came from the back. With the make one left, we come from the front. So with my left needle, I'm again picking up that thread from the front to the back. And again, it's leaning to the left on my needle. And this time I'm going to knit into the front, into the back. So it's the opposite. And as I take it off the needle, you can see it's leaning, slanting to the left. So those are the 2 basic increases. We've got 2 more that are placed in the pattern, which is the make one left with a purl and make one right with a purl. And this is really what you'll find in the pattern used in order to keep the pattern in order, where you continue with the ribbing of knit 3, purl 1 and so on. I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So make one right, again, we're going to pick up from the back, think of rear, pick it up, and this time instead of knitting into the front, I'm going to purl into that front. So bring the yarn forward and purl. And then the other version. Again, this is now make one left, so I pick it up from the front to the back. And this is a little bit more tricky because I need to purl into the back. So I'm going to bring the yarn forward to purl, and I have to take the right needle and go into the back. So you do have to slightly twist your needles to get there. Whoops, there we go. And purl off. I'll show you that in context when we come to it in the pattern. So I'll just take those off the needle. And just now I'm going to knit along my little swatch and get to the point where I need to add and make one right and make one left in the central point. So just knit to the middle. And I'm just going to knit to where it comes to the marker. So I'm just going to now knit that stitch, and my marker is here, and it says make one right. Now this is a little bit tricky and a bit different because we've got the yarn over from the previous row. So what we need to do is find that thread. Now you can see there's a sort of double thread here. So what I'm going to do is just go right up to the center point and pick up there. That's going to be the thread that I need to use. This is a make one right, so I'm going to need to do this from the back. So just to help me, I'm just going to lift that, and from the back bring my left needle and on. And again, as a quick check, it's leaning to the right, so I know I'm in the right place. So I've lifted it from the back to the front, so I need to knit this one into the front. So that's my first increase. A little bit tricky because we've had the yarn over before. So that's the first one. Slip the marker, knit, slip the marker as we've done all the way through the pattern there. And I now need to do make one left on the corresponding on the opposite side of the marker. Again, I'm going to identify that thread, and I'm going right up to the spine, right up to the middle, and I'm lifting from front to back that thread. Again, I can see it's leaning to the left, and I'm going to now knit into the back. And then I can carry on reading the stitches of the pattern to the end. So that's the first increases done, and those are a little bit tricky because they are working over those eyelets. And now I will show you how to carry on when the pattern is set with the further increases. So I'm now on the next row, right side facing, and ready to do the next increases in the middle, but I'm just going to read the stitches from the front before I start knitting them. And you can see the pattern always carries on with knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, and when I get to the marker, this is where the next increase will take place, and this is where we're going to do the make one right purl, and then across make one left purl, and it's so that we keep the pattern in order. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just going to knit to the marker, so just reading the stitches as I go, so it's always the same combination. And this is where we've got to do the slightly different increase with the purl. So I've reached the marker, and this is the increase we're going to do. And this is, you can see, to follow the pattern, this is why we need to do make one right purl. So again, we need to identify the bar. It's now much easier to see because we haven't got that double thread. So I'm just finding the bar between the two stitches. So it's here, and I lift it from the back onto the needle, check it's lying to the right, and this time I'm going to purl into the front. So that gives me the first one. Then I can move the marker, follow the stitches, so it's a knit, move the marker, and we are now in the stage of making one left purl. So I'm going to bring the yarn forward because I know I'm going to have to purl, and this time lift from the front to the back. And again, just check the angle, and it's going to the left, and I'm now going to purl. Now this is the slightly trickier one because you have to lift from the back. So I'm just going to take from here. Again, you just ease your needle in, make sure you're going through there, and purl off, and now I can carry on in pattern to the end of the row. So let's just have a look at that. So there we go. You can see now how the little bar, the purl bar, is in place. So now when I purl back, I can just read the stitches in pattern. So you can now see after a few rows how the pattern is getting established and how the increases are working. So I'm going to just show you one more time how to work these central increases. So I'll just work into the middle. I'm just reading the stitches as I see them, and it's always the same combination: knit 3, purl 1, and I'm going to work all the way to the marker. And just to check, although I can follow the pattern rows, but just to check, I can see here I've got 1 purl and 2 knit stitches. So this next increase is going to be a straightforward make one right with a knit. So here I go. I take it from the back, lift it onto my left needle, see the right leaning thread, and then I'm going to just knit into the front. So that's the first one done. That's the make one right. Then just work across to the other side of the next marker. And this is a make one left. So I'm going to lift from the front to the back, leaning to the left, and then I'm going to knit into the back. And just follow, again, reading the stitches as they come to the end of the row. And I'll show you how that looks. So now you can see how the stitches are increasing and the pattern is looking really lovely as it flares out. And you can carry on with the rib section for as long as you want it to be before you then go into casting off.